So let's speak about archetype 51 in transit. We call this archetype Thunder. It's in transit from April 4th to April 9th, more or less. This is the gate of shock. In the I Ching, we call this hexagram the arousing. In the gene keys, this is the frequency band that goes from the shadow of agitation to the gift of initiative and the city of awakening. So the human pathway here is initiative. I listened to Richard Rudd speaking about the shadow is the same for all of us, the city is the same for all of us, and in the gift frequency, which is the human pathway, that's where we have this uniqueness, that we have different ways of living out the gift. And I like that. When we're in low frequencies, the same very high frequency beyond what's like individual, it's also the same field. But then how are we doing it as unique beings on our human pathway? That's where we have differentiation. So here we're looking at the 51 from I Ching perspective. So we're going to see that the wheel in the I Ching is divided into 8 elements that you have here: thunder, earth, mountain, water, wind, heaven, lake, and fire. And now we are in the part of the wheel that has the triagram, the 3 lines that are thunder on the bottom. And in this particular case, we have thunder over thunder. So these are the other archetypes that you can see here that are also in that part of the wheel that has thunder on the bottom. So what is thunder? Because here we have the pure energy. So thunder over thunder, it's what we understand through Gene Key 51 here in the braid. So the shadow agitation is anxiety begging to move. The gift of initiative ignites creative independence. And then the city of awakening arrives as a surprise. And here we're looking at the 51 in terms of the astrological wheel. So here we are in Aries. This is the archetype of the pioneer, the warrior, and the adventurer. It's service to others in the way of the warrior's will. It's cardinal fire. So this is where the astrological year starts. Aries is the spark that ignites the fires of pioneering purpose. We see that the ruler is Mars. And it's also connected to the first house. So first sign, first house astrological year is starting. We are in the court of initiation, and that's where we have the binary of yang, yin on the bottom, and we have the channel of initiation as the only channel that is activated right now, today and tomorrow, and then we're not going to have the 51 activated anymore. Here's the body graph, and we are in the will center that only has 4 gates. This center has the shadow of ego, the gift of willpower, and the city of surrender. It is a motor. It's one of 4 motors. We have the ego, the sacral, the root, and the emotional center. They're all motors. And here the themes are commitment, willpower, self-worth. And like we said before, this is the gate of shock. So here you have the other 3 archetypes. And the harmonic gate, so this is everywhere in the body graph. We have the process. To understand the whole process, we need to look at the channel, not just looking at the gate. So here we have the channel of initiation, a design of needing to be first. The theme, your life is a series of leaps into the unknown. You have the spirit of a warrior, and you're here to learn how to walk your path on your own. Be courageous and blaze new trails and shock yourself and others along the way. For the love or innocent archetype, it has many names. We have open-heartedness, faith, and spirit as keywords. For thunder, we have readiness, courage, and excitement. And then for the whole process, we have the shadow of competition that comes from the combination of the shadow of constriction and the shadow of agitation. Then we have the gift of uniqueness, which comes from acceptance and initiative. And then we have the city of initiation, which comes from universal love and awakening together. So this is the integral human design that allocates frequency bands for everything, not only the gates or the gene keys, but also the channels and the circuitry, the centers, everything. We're now looking at the programming partners. So on one side of the wheel where the astrological year starts, we have the 51 in Aries. And then on the other side, we have in Libra, so half through the astrological year, the 57. So if you have the 51 in your activation sequence incarnation cross, you're also going to have the 57. And also if you have it in your nodal environment Agitation goes hand in hand with unease, initiative goes hand in hand with intuition, awakening goes hand in hand with clarity. So if this is your nodal environment, there's a pathway there that is a trajectory, depending on what's your north node that you're going towards, you're integrating the south node. And if it's more human design, it's more about your environment and what you're going to have around you. Actually, both my ex and my mom has 51.1 in their south node on the personality side, and then 57.1 in the north node. And 57 is my vocation and my Saturn. So I guess I was their environment for some time, but I'm always reminded of that possible feeling of unease. And also because I have the 25 that tucks into the 51, I also feel the shocks a lot in my relationships, especially seeming to choose people that have the 51. Ashley has the 51 in her attraction sphere. So I have a lot of people that will have that 51, the programming partner to my vocation, and also the harmonic gate to my IQ. Something to say there too from the line companion is the Rauru who says that if you have the first line of the 51, you might never recover from your shocks. And that there was somebody who received the voice the same year that he received it, and that person was in an institution forever and couldn't even do the basic things with his hygiene. And the only thing that he had said is that he heard a voice, and it was something about the book of letters. So it was the same transmission, but for Rauru, it was his son, his life's work in 51.5, and this other man had a 51.1. So that's something to think about. And I've spoken to you before about my mom's health, and I think that partly some of the shocks that she had in life, I think it's been hard for her to recover in that sense. And I can even see my ex in some of the patterns. I can see that thing of like recreating the shock over and over again, unconsciously usually. So think about that. If you have the 51, what patterns, shocks are you reproducing? And here we have the individual circuitry. So continuing what we said about the harmonic gate, where we have the channel of initiation. Here we're looking at the whole circuitry. So this is individual circuitry, and this is the keynote of empowerment. So it's individual and it's mutative, and it's about the individual first, and it is to become empowered in self so that we can inspire others. We're looking at the centering circuit here, this little circuit in the middle. And it's super important. This is the core of that self-empowerment. Simplify life to being first and using your power in a natural way. Okay, so here we have the Abaxis system. Today is a little bit more simple because we have two trigrams, like we said, that are the same. So thunder over thunder. He's using color to understand the elements as well. So thunder is an initiating energy, goes together with Mars and Aries. So first sign, and Mars as a planet. And then this is then what we have both the background being red and the little man being red. And then this is activation card that we can use. So we're looking here at awaken or waking up, which is the 51, right? Awakening. And even if it looks like, oh, this is completely just pure 51 energy. In the I Ching, if you've gone a little deeper, you know that there are hidden trigrams. So if we don't look at the top and the bottom, we're going to see that there are two trigrams in the middle that are hidden, where we have mountain and water. So looking at them can give us a recommendation. So we have a verb for each hexagram, we have a purpose, and then we have a recommendation. So in English here, the verb would be waking up or awaken. The action or the meaning, we're waking up to take action. And then the inner is to trust your instincts. And that's the mountain, trust, and then the water is the instincts. So you can even see here, if you know a little bit about the elements or the signs, when we have Libra and Scorpio together, trusting your instincts would be the recommendation that comes from that. We're starting to walk the wheel, similar to Portals of Deconditioning, what Ashley and I did in 2020. So more like an alchemical process and more of birthing ourselves. The world is never going to be the same. So if you have that seed in you that hasn't sprouted, or it's started to sprout, but it hasn't come out in the world as your unique expression. It's time. We also had a lot of conversation about your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. And that's not the same. It's easy to be in your zone of excellence, but where is your zone of genius? And that's where uniqueness lives. And that's what the archetypes want to bring us to, that place.